Coming to you from the Black Goat 39 studios, this is the Guru Talking Sports Podcast, episode 97. Now, here's your host, the Guru of Sports. Oh man. Everything that I try to do sometimes it just messes up, but hey, you know what? This is the point of live radio or live podcasting. I'm actually here in my studio and I'm trying to work the boards because one of my guys is not here once again, so I'm not going to mention that Caden Guru is not here. He's actually at work. All right. Welcome to episode 97 of the Guru Talking Sports Podcast. I am your host, the Guru of Sports. Now, this is episode 97, and like I wanted to mention to you guys last week, we had a few things that was going on, but you know what? Bygones be bygones and past is past. I want to make sure that let me talk to you for a second. I thank you every single week for the comments, the thoughts, and the opinions of what you have to say. And I really appreciate everything. I got to give credit right off the bat to my co-host, Cousin Aaron. Cousin Aaron is a great guy. And I want to make sure that you guys know that, we have a lot of things that we talk about between the two of us. And we try to work on certain things and trying to get, like we mentioned before, the best product and the best content out to you. There's a million podcasts out there that you can listen to. But we want you guys to listen to us because we appreciate you guys. We appreciate the thoughts, the comments, the feedback, everything that you guys do, we really appreciate. And on that note, I just want to say thank you for coming in. Oh, did I say it? Oh, yeah, that's right. Hello, sports fans, and welcome. Welcome to the Guru Talking Sports Podcast. This is episode 97. I am the Guru of Sports. And like I said, I got my cousin Aaron in the background. In a few minutes, I'll introduce him. But I wanted to give you guys the basic stuff that's going on in this podcast in this episode. Okay. Now, we do have a couple things that we want to get to. The main thing is that we got Saturday games today. And we're going to be breaking down Cincinnati, Tennessee, and Green Bay and San Francisco in the first half. This is a 2-half show. The first half now, we're going to do that. First thing we're going to get to before we do anything, we're going to talk about last week's games. And we're going to go right off the bat with the poo-poo of the week. And you'll be surprised who the 4 poo-poo of the weeks are. Second thing we're going to do is I'm going to have a segment called Bust the Facts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some facts on all four of these games. I'm going to ask Cousin Aaron his opinions on those after I give out these facts. And then we're going to go to the next thing, which is that we're going to talk about the four games or the two games in this half. And then we're going to talk about two games in the other half. Philadelphia Flyers. Philadelphia fan, you know I got to talk about you guys, right? Philadelphia Flyers are back and doing what they're doing, believe me. I'm going to talk a little bit about that Lakers situation. I hate to keep talking about and bringing up the situation with the Los Angeles Lakers, but it seems as though it is a big story. It's a big topic, and we keep going over and over this all the time. Okay. Second half, we're going to have He's a Bad Man. We're going to break down the two games, the LA Rams and Tampa Bay, Buffalo and Kansas City. We're going to have the famous, which is starting to be the world famous, What's Pissing You Off segment. Cousin Aaron is going to give a few shout outs. We got to say taps. We have to do taps because if you didn't hear the news about Louis Anderson and Meatloaf, and also Hall of Fame hockey player Clark Gillies, we're going to have to talk about them. And then we're going to talk, with me and Cousin Aaron are going to do a little bit of talking about music again. I thought that was pretty interesting, and I think a lot of people did like it. His thoughts on music, because he is actually a musician. I am a music lover, so I want to hear his thoughts and his opinions on music. Then we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna say a few things, and then we're gonna be out of here. Okay, we know that today is Saturday, and the big games are coming up later on this afternoon. Cincinnati and Tennessee will kick it off. We got opinions on those games. We're going to break down those games. And San Francisco, Green Bay, the nightcap on today. Tomorrow, we're going to see the Los Angeles Rams take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we're going to see the big rematch between Kansas City and Buffalo. That's going to be very, very interesting. Okay. So now, let me talk about the four games that happened last week. And the poo-poo of the week. Okay. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Cousin Aaron in, but I want him to lay out for a few minutes. Hey, Cousin Aaron, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Guru. Nice hearing from you this morning.
All right.
Nice hearing from you.
Okay. Yep. Now, the poo-poo of the week has got to be Arizona, Pittsburgh, Dallas, and Philadelphia. Okay. Now, what I want to ask you guys is this. What the hell was Dallas doing at the end of that game? That is going to be remembered as one of the biggest blunders in NFL history. Cousin Aaron, I want to ask you this. Do you think they really had a chance to make a play in those final seconds?
No, I do not. And let me tell you who I'm going to point the finger to. I'm going to point the finger to the coach. Or whoever called that boneheaded play about a quarterback draw with 14 seconds left. Nah, it was almost impossible because you had to run to get down, slide down, and you can't stop the clock. The referee has to touch the ball. And if Dak Prescott had gotten out of the way of the referee coming in to touch the ball, or handed the ball to the referee, they might have had a one in a hell of a chance to go to the end zone. But I call that on the coach, really. Not so much Dak Prescott, even though that was a blunder play anyway, but I blame it on Mike McCarthy. I don't know what the hell he was doing. Mike McCarthy has to be the blame for that call. Not Kellen Moore either. I think Mike McCarthy is the one that said, hey, let's go with that. What do you think?
I think that, yeah, it's on Mike McCarthy. It is, and he's been taking a lot this week. And I noticed that, it couldn't have been. I still can't see, and there are some people that are out there say that the play could have been made. The play could have been made. But if he would have stopped like maybe a few inches short, it was a 17-yard run, 16-yard run. He could have stopped at about like maybe 14 or 10, somewhere around in there, 10 to 14. Would have had more seconds on the clock for him to make have the referee touch it, down the ball, and then get to another play. I just don't understand how McCarthy, Cullen Moore, and Prescott, all three of them, knew what the situation was, and it seems as though that they were running around like, I don't know, just running around kind of crazy, just not able to make a real serious play. I mean, it just seems as though it was just like more or less like a fire drill. Hank Stram said it best years ago, and I'm not going to say, he said it was some type of fire drill. And he said that in a Super Bowl game, but politically correct now, we can't say really, that type of thing. But anyway, it was just a blunder, the biggest blunder I've ever seen in an NFL game. And I just, McCarthy was taking a lot. A lot of people said that he should have been fired right at the end of the game. I don't know. I just don't. It just seems like it's always Dallas that's always making these bonehead mistakes. What do you think? And before I go to that, or before I let you answer that, I want to say you did say, and I've heard it all year, that Dallas is not going to win in the playoffs because they haven't played a quality caliber team all season. You were right on that. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, see, the Cowboys, they got to play who's on their schedule.
Exactly.
But whatever. You play who's on your schedule, and the teams they were supposed to beat, they didn't. They can only fault themselves. But they hadn't beaten any quality team. When they played Philadelphia, your Philadelphia team, they beat nobody because they had the practice squad out there. So I wouldn't count that as a winning team. But they played a bunch of lousy ass teams through the whole season. They won their division by default, you might as well say, with a 10-5 record. So to me, they hadn't played anybody, man. They thought they were high and mighty, and I'm not their biggest fan, and you've mentioned that before, but football is football, man. Come on. That play had to be discussed, the play you're referring to, that big-ass blunder. Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, and Kellen Moore had to go through that. Timing had to be right. Everything had to be right on for them to have a miracle shot to their end zone. And I still go back to pointing the finger at Mike McCarthy because he's the head coach.
Yeah. I look at it this way. You can't. Everything falls on the head coach. Quarterback has to do his job. The offensive coordinator has to do his job. But the thing about it is that the head coach, has to sign off on all these things. And it's just that you can't just sit there and say, well, I designed this play and this was all right. No, it wasn't the right call. It wasn't the right call. But they say they practice that play all the time. I don't see how could you practice that type of play. It just doesn't look. It didn't look right to me. And it's just.
It would have worked. It would have worked, right? If they had practiced that play, it would have. In some means, it would have worked because with that time on the clock, they had to be conscious of it. And Dak Prescott, he's part to blame too because you got to execute the play. That was the key.
Yeah.
Execution.
Yeah. Now he got fined $25,000 for his comments against
Yeah.
the referees, and
Yeah.
he ran it back. He did give an apology for it, but you still. I mean, I can understand that in the heat of the moment, you say things that are kind of like you don't want to you say things and you have to run it back, and then you have to come back with an apology or so. But you got to remember too that it's dangerous to talk about hurting the officials. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Right.
All right, so let me go on to Arizona. Arizona looked terrible. Cliff Kingsbury had this team at like 7-0, 8-0, somewhere around in there, and it just fell through the roof. I mean, it fell through the wayside. I mean, it just looked terrible. I mean, Kyler Murray in his first playoff game, just it seems as though that they just didn't have the pieces there. DeAndre Hopkins wasn't there. Did Connor play? I mean, it's just what was their philosophy on doing things? I just didn't see them actually matching up with the Rams. And I just thought that they didn't look good at all. Period. They looked like they just didn't want to. Wasn't supposed to be there. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, they were very confused because the Rams were throwing different looks at him, and Kyler Murray, he was confused, and he couldn't go to anybody he could depend on because, like you said, DeAndre Hopkins wasn't there, his regular go-to guy. He didn't know who to go to. It seemed like, but I give credit to the Rams defense. Arizona did look crazy. I mean, they couldn't even score. It seemed like it looked like they couldn't get themselves together. Uh, but the bottom fell out of that team. It fell out of that team like 3 or 4 games before they played that game. So I didn't give them much of a chance anyway.
All right. Well, another thing about that, and this is something that has been brung up a lot, that Cliff Kingsbury always starts out good and always falters in the end. So, that was
Right.
one of the things that I was looking at as well. And like I said, this team looked good at the beginning of the year. It looked like they were actually a Super Bowl contender. But now they just look terrible, losing games that they shouldn't have lost. And it's just really, really bad though. All right, I'm gonna keep moving. I want to talk about Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, they had no chance against Kansas City. I knew they had no chance. We both took Kansas City to beat them, and it didn't matter. They looked terrible. I mean, send Ben Roethlisberger out on his broken horse and let him go his way. They just didn't look good. Pittsburgh looked like they shouldn't have been there. To tell you the truth. What do you think?
Yeah, you're right. They got in. They got in by default. It seemed like to me, but they had injuries. You can't use the injuries as an excuse because they've been playing with basically the same team throughout the year. But they were in and out, in and out. They were beating some teams that they really shouldn't have beat, and then there are teams that beat them that shouldn't have beat Pittsburgh. Uh, and at the same time, I got to go to Mike Tomlin. I think his job is safe. His job been safe ever since he's been there. So he's not going anywhere unless he quits. So I don't see him losing this job. But Pittsburgh, they didn't belong. They
Okay.
didn't. And Kansas City got rid of them real quick, real fast.
Yeah. They had no problems with them disposing of them.
Yeah.
My question to you: who gets the quarterbacking job, Mason Rudolph or Haskins?
Repeat that again.
Who gets the quarterback job between those two, Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins? Who gets that
I
job?
think Rudolph will get the nod. Haskins is still learning. I knew it was going to take him a couple of years to go behind someone because he spoiled his chances to be an elite quarterback when he was in Washington. But Mason Rudolph, I think he'll get the nod. I really do. It's going to be a competitive thing, but Mason Rudolph, they're going to give him a try, I'm sure.
All right. Well, I look at it this way: a Buckeye is a Buckeye. I like Haskins,
Yeah.
but he really, like you said, he squandered his way through in Washington, and he didn't have a good exit from there. And he sat behind Mason Rudolph and Ben Roethlisberger. So I just don't understand how he is able to not get a chance. But then again, it's just being young and immature in a way kind of does a little bit of those things for you. His ability is really good. I think that he is able to take that quarterbacking job, but like I said, I think Mason Rudolph will have the upper hand on that one. Okay, last one before we go to the break is I want to talk about Philadelphia. Uh, did I not call that one or what? Did I not call that
one?
Did I call?
You called that one.
But Phil, I mean, participation trophies are not available in the NFL. And I told you guys, I made it point blank. Philadelphia's not going to win this game. Did they look like they were a team out there trying when it was at halftime when it was 31-0? No, they didn't look like a team. And to tell you the truth, I look at it this way. Tampa Bay gave them mercy points in the second half. But you know what? I do give them credit because their defensive line sacked Tom Brady 4 times. And that's a part of Bust of Facts I was going to mention. But they did sack Tom Brady 4 times. He was only sacked 23 times the whole season. But then again, you look at their offensive line was kind of banged up. 2 of their pieces were banged up on their offensive line. So I got to give Philadelphia a little bit of credit. But not much because guess what? I told you guys, you basically didn't look like you needed to be there. I'm still high. I have, everybody's talking about the quarterback, Jalen Hurts. No, I like Devontae Smith. I really like Devontae Smith. He's going to be a superstar. And I think that if they would have passed the ball a little bit more to him, that would have been a little bit more of a difference in this game. There were certain plays where the guys on there, they were saying, why don't you pass the ball to Devontae Smith? He's open. They had chances to pass the ball to him, and they just didn't do it. He's going to be a superstar. Mark my words, Philadelphia. I'm going to say this, and I'm going out on a limb. I like Devontae Smith. I didn't like him when he was in Alabama because he beat my boys in the championship, but I like Devontae Smith. He's going to be a superstar. And believe me, I'm going to try to get him in every fantasy platform I have next year. Okay, what do you think about Devontae Smith? What do you think about that Philadelphia team?
Yeah,
All right. It seems like his audio went out a
I don't know
little
where
bit.
that came from.
All right, go ahead.
That looked like a scam call. But anyway, to continue, Devontae Smith got golden hands, like I said. He reminds me of a guy like Drew Pearson. Some of the famous wide receivers, man. Well, what killed me was Jalen Hurts looked at him a couple times on the first read when he was wide open and never passed the ball to him. What was that?
Exactly.
Tell me what that was. And then you got, when you sack Brady 4 times, you sack him 4 times, he's going to get up off his pants, dust it off. You done pissed him off. Now he's going to go downfield. That's exactly what he did, man. Those 4 sacks didn't mean a bowl of beans. So Philadelphia, you got to play a complete game. That's what you got to do, play a complete game. You got the tools there, but you got to use them right.
I look at, like I mentioned before, this team, it was okay. It won some games, they were over 500, and it was good. But you got to remember one thing. There's still a lot of better teams out there. And Caden Guru was telling me, I got a feeling this team can go to the Super Bowl this year. I said, there's no way. There's no way. With Tampa, the Rams, who else? Green Bay, and even Dallas. I mean, for what that's worth, Dallas could have beat you guys. I mean, there's a lot of teams, and even if you got through the NFC, guess what? You still got to try to beat Kansas City,
Right.
Tennessee. You got to try to beat Cincinnati, and you got to try to beat the other team over there on the other side. So I mean, come on. There was no way that the Bills. There's no way that the Eagles could have made it to the Super Bowl this year. So I mean, let's just be realistic. The guru is always trying to tell you guys, I'm being realistic. I know my stuff. I sit up and I research and I do my homework. And I'm telling you, there's no way that they could have won the Super Bowl this year. I'm sorry. Good story, but hey, you know what? Now they're sitting home with my Raiders, my Jaguars, and a couple other teams. All right, I'll tell you what. We're going to take a break right here, and then we're going to come back with Bust the Facts. I'm going to be giving you the Bust the Facts right quick. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to give you the 2 Bust the Facts for this half for the 2 games that we're going to talk about. We're going to break down these games in a few minutes, and we'll be right back. Guys, stay tuned. Hang loose. The Guru Talking Sports Podcast will be right back in a few seconds. Okay, welcome back to the Guru Talking Sports Podcast. This is episode 97. Me and Cousin Aaron are here, and we're talking about the 4 games that we have this weekend. And I'm going to go to something that's new that I'm going to call Bust the Facts. Okay, I'm going to bust the facts on Cincinnati and Tennessee right off. Tennessee is the only team in the playoffs right now to have beaten 4 of the teams that are in the playoffs right now. They beat San Francisco, the Los Angeles Rams, Kansas City, and Buffalo. Burrow the Chase. They are the 7th rated passing attack in the NFL, and they've been pretty good with it. The Bengals had a 5th ranked defense in the NFL, and that could be something that could be applied if they can try to stop Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has been on the shelf for a while, but the Tennessee Titans have won 6 games without him this season. We're going to make sure that we keep an eye on that. Those are just some of the facts that I'm bringing up for the Tennessee and Cincinnati game. Okay. Plus, Cincinnati and Tennessee haven't played this week. In Buster Facts, also, I'm going to mention if they played each other. Okay, like the Green Bay and San Francisco game. Green Bay won that game in week 3, 30-28. Okay, the Packers do have a lot of players coming back, which is Bakhtiari, Cobb, Whitley, Merciless, Alexander, and Smith. Their secondary defense is really, really good. 18 interceptions, 10th against the pass. 10th against the pass. They're 7-0 this year when Devontae Adams catches over 100 yards. Now, the thing about San Francisco is that they have beaten Green Bay 3 of the last times in the playoffs. And we'll talk about the predictions a little bit later, but I'm not sure about that fact that's going to hold up, if it's going to hold up. On the San Francisco side of the ball, they are 5-4 against playoff teams this season. Elijah Mitchell, he's another one of the guys that I want to target on when fantasy comes around again. He has 5 100-yard games this season. They're first in yards after the catch. Their passing offense is really, really good. Green Bay's red zone defense isn't that good. Now, it's going to be a challenge between when Deebo Samuel and a couple other their Green Bay defensive backs are going to match up in the red zone. But like I mentioned before, Green Bay's red zone defense is a little bit shaky, And San Francisco's red zone offense is really, really good. Bosa and Warner are question marks. I thought they were question marks, but Cousin Aaron did say that Bosa is going to play and Warner is going to play. Now, one of my things that I'm going to say and bust the facts is this. This is a fact. Garoppolo has to get the ball to George Kittle. George Kittle looked like he was missing in action last week. But if that, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Elijah Mitchell, and the fourth person have to show up today for them to have a chance is George Kittle. George Kittle has to do something. Okay, those are a couple things, a bust of facts I wanted to mention. And like I said before, San Francisco has beaten Green Bay the last 3 times in the playoffs. Remember, Green Bay had the number 1 seed a couple of times, and San Francisco came in and beat them. Remember the last time that San Francisco went to the Super Bowl when they played against Kansas City? They beat Green Bay to get there. So we're talking facts here and making sure that we, have a good opinion on what was going on. Okay, Cousin Aaron, I got to ask you, what do you think about the facts on those facts?
I love everything you said, man. Those facts are spot on because without them, you kind of lose your way in trying to pick a team to win. The facts are the facts. That's it. But the thing is, sometimes the facts can be reversed. And like we said later on, we'll talk about those predictions, your opinion and mine also. But the facts, man, you hit it right on the spot, man. I like it. Love it.
Okay. I'll tell you what. Let's go right into the opinions or the picks.
All right.
Okay. Now, Cincinnati and Tennessee are 3.5. Tennessee is a 3.5 point favorite at home. Now, I did use the we both corroborated on this, and this is from Cousin Aaron's The Vegas app. Okay, that game is at 3.5. Who do you see winning this game and why?
I scratched my head on this game, and I don't even have any hair. But let me tell you something, man. Cincinnati has been playing awesome, and I think one of the key things for Cincinnati is the quarterback, Joe Burrows. He's been playing lights out, man. It looks like he's unstoppable. He can find somebody at any given time. I love the way he handles himself in the pocket. If he needs to roll out, he will, and he'll still hit you. So Joe Burrows looked like a brand new guy to me. But on the defensive side of the ball, Trey Hendricks, he cleared the concussion protocol, and he's able to play. He's okay to play for today's game. So that should make a difference on the defensive side. For Tennessee, cornerback Janoris Jenkins is back, but he's hobbling. So I'm looking for Joe Burrows to throw the ball and pick on Janoris Jenkins, especially on the deep ball, to see if he can keep up with someone one-on-one. So my pick in this game would be Cincinnati Bengals. I think they're going to beat Tennessee.
You think they're going to beat Tennessee? Now, I want to ask you a question. With I know that Chase is the man. Chase is the man. We all know that Chase is the man.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so if they had a little bit more contribution and C.J. Umsama, and then you got Tyler Boyd, and Mixon. You got to remember Mixon is still there too. So I mean, you got pieces there. And before I go into that, I want to tell you, I like what Joe Burrow said about his team. And he said that, hey, look, you know what? We have to make this the present of what we're doing right now. This is what we're coming to do every single year. We're not just going to come into the playoffs and play the playoffs and get a our participation trophy. We're going to come in here. We're going to try to win, And I look at it this way. These guys are very, very, confident. They're really good. Now, I'm going to take Tennessee only because
Mhm.
not of Derrick Henry, but I think that the rest that Tennessee has had and being the number one seed, and you got to remember, like I was said in Buster Facts, Tennessee has beaten a lot of playoff really good teams this year.
Yep.
You know, they
Yeah.
beat Buffalo, they beat Kansas City. You know, the two others on the other side of the ledger for them to go to the Super Bowl. This team is really beating a lot of good teams. Now, Julio Jones has to show up. If he does, I don't think there shouldn't be a problem. You know, and Brown is going to be a factor. And like I said, if Derrick Henry can, you know, they don't need a whole lot from Derrick Henry. They just need enough to get him in the groove, get him back into playing shape and form. And like I said, you know, next week, if they do, they'll be at home. They'll play whoever, Kansas City or Buffalo at home. And they should be able to, you know, make it. Hopefully they can make it to the Super Bowl. But I really think that Tennessee is a 3.5-point favorite. I like Tennessee at home only because of those reasons. And I'm definitely going to say Tennessee is going to probably win this game. It's going to be close. I think it's going to be a 35-31 game. 35-31. All right. So you like Cincinnati on that, right?
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
All right. I'll tell you what. Now we're going to actually keep on going. We're going to talk about San Francisco and Green Bay. Now, San Francisco is a 4.5-point underdog to Green Bay going up into Lambeau. And this is what I use from the Vegas Insider app. Okay, I'll let you go first on this one. Who you got in this San Francisco-Green Bay game?
You know, Guru, I would hate to go against Aaron Rodgers. And to be honest with you, I'm not going against him. They're 8-0 on their turf. You're talking about a turf, a frozen turf, and it's going to be like that tonight, 8:15 Eastern time. But even over there when the sun sets, man, it is extra cold. I mean, cold that we've never felt before. I think Aaron Rodgers, he's a candidate for the MVP this year, and I really hope he gets it, and I think he will. But I think Green Bay is just going to have their number this trip.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can't go against Aaron Rodgers, and you know what? And to tell you this is that I still got that ticket that's sitting over there with that I picked at the beginning of the season. And that Green Bay ticket is looking really, really good. Only thing they got to do is just win 2 games. They got to win, you know. But, you know, like in Buster Facts again, San Francisco has won 3 of these games, the last 3 games they played. But I think that if Devontae Adams has a great game, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon can run the ball effectively, and Aaron Rodgers comes out and plays like Aaron Rodgers,
right,
they are going to win. They are definitely going to win. I love Green Bay at home, and I'm saying maybe a 27-21 game, 27-21. I see that, you know, like San Francisco has good players, and they have a good solid core, you know, and that's what beat Dallas last week. You've seen how Deebo Samuels can play when he has the opportunity to get loose. He's very, very, very good, very efficient, very elusive, and I like San Francisco's chances. But I don't see San Francisco going into Green Bay and winning this game because Green Bay is rested, and like I said, both number 1 seeds. I'm going to go with them because they're both rested, and I think that they have an advantage over these 2 teams that are coming in now playing after their, you know, last week's matches.
I agree.
Okay. All right, I tell you what, we're going to take a break right here, And then we're going to wrap up the rest of this half with some Philadelphia Flyers talk, and we're going to talk about the Lakers. Guys, stay tuned. Hold on tight. We'll be right back. This is the Guru Talking Sports Podcast, episode 97. All right, we're back. Guru Talking Sports Podcast, episode 97. We're back. We're going to wrap up the rest of this half with some Philadelphia Flyers talk and some Los Angeles Laker talk. First off, Philadelphia Flyers, guess what? I thought it was impossible. I thought it was really rare that a team can lose 10 games in a season. 10 hockey games in a season. But guess what, Philadelphia? You done did it twice now. You're on your second 10-game losing streak? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I have never seen a team this terrible. And, you know, I was watching the local news here, and the coach was saying, hey, if I could pull out my hair, I would, but I don't have any hair on my head. Sort of like what you just said, Cousin Aaron. He's bald-headed. He's bald-headed.
Oh, man.
And, you know, I just don't understand this team. I mean, they just don't have anything going for them right now. You know, and then, like I mentioned before, the Guru is not picking on you, Philadelphia. But you give me stories and stuff to talk about all the time. Last week it was the Philadelphia Eagles. We thought they was going to win the Super Bowl. Okay. Now, what are you going to do, Flyers? What are you guys going to do? You're just going to be sitting around just playing, you know. I have no... have you ever heard of two 10-game losing streaks in one season?
No, not in any sport that I can think of, especially basketball. Football, you might have had one, but not two 10-game losing streaks. No, walk off the ice, man. Just
you know,
off the ice.
You know, if I could skate, I'd go down there and try to help them out. You know what? And having open tryouts and stuff like that, I would go down there and help them out. But I can't help them out. I got something else to do. You know, I can't do it. I can't do it. All right, the last thing we're going to talk about in this half is the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, how is it that when you win a championship just 2 years ago, you're now coaching day to day? This is a situation that Lakers coach find himself in. You know, what's the Lakers coach name? I can't remember right off. You know what?
Was it Vogel?
Frank Vogel. You know, and this is really pissing me off because I'm a Laker fan. Yeah, I should have known his name right off. But you know what? It's just really pissing me off because I don't understand why now. And then you hear some story about Jeannie Buss is talking to Kurt Rambis's wife, and Kurt Rambis is involved. What the hell is going on over there? You know, this is the work. Why don't they just get rid of all the distractions and play basketball? The team is freaking old. They're freaking old. Their combined age is about 170. I was watching them last night. They won the game, which was good. They beat Orlando in Orlando. And the bad thing was that I saw Jalen Suggs, the rookie for Orlando, take a bad spell, but he was okay. This team is just really dysfunctional, very dysfunctional. And the thing about them is that I just don't understand how this management is, you know, oh gosh, they just really. That's one of the things that's really pissing me off is the Lakers. I just don't understand them. Aaron, help me out here. I can't figure. I don't know.
I wish I could help you out, but let me tell you something. You did mention a hell of a fact that they're old, and LeBron James can't help them get out of this rut. But one more thing I got to say about the Lakers. Russell Westbrook, have you ever noticed that he has some bad hands? His hands just go all over the place. He can't even make a layup, man. And then he goes to the basket and give it a slam dunk. Okay, you got the ball, you slam it. But Westbrook has turned the ball over more times than you can bounce a check. Man, let me tell you something. Westbrook is playing himself off that roster, And I really do, before this season is up, God forbid, but I think they're going to move on without him. I really do. They're trying to find a player to replace him now. And they're forcing, the team is forcing Frank Vogel to lose his job. I don't think he'll be around just as much as Westbrook. I think they both will leave at the same time. I do. I think they're going to get rid of him.
Yeah. I just can't understand how, now they're saying that Frank Vogel has to have approval from management to make decisions on Russell Westbrook. What is that? The coach is supposed to make decisions on what he feels as though is right for the team. And if he feels as though he's right, sit his ass down if he can't play. If he can't can't shoot, can't play, can't do anything, he's really terrible, to tell you the truth. This has been like one of the worst things I've ever seen in my whole time being a Laker fan. I mean, this was worse than the years that we didn't even go to the playoff. The 6-7 years that we didn't make the playoffs and everything, that was even worse. But we had the lean times. Then we had the times where Kobe was trying to bring this team back by himself and everything. It's a lot of stuff. And I ain't got time for that type of stress. I ain't got time for it. That's not what I didn't sign up for that type of stress with the Lakers. That's my team, but I can't deal with that. I can take it from like the Baltimore Orioles or something like that, because I know that the Orioles are the Orioles. But I can't take it from the Lakers. They're a proud franchise. All right. I tell you what, this is it for this half. We ran a little bit over, about like a minute or so over in this half, but we're going to go take a break, and we'll be back with the second half. And we're going to start off with He's a Bad Man. And then I'm going to go bust the facts again about the two games that we're going to break down. And we'll be right back. Hang with us. Hang tight. We'll be right back. All right, guys. Welcome back. The second half of the Guru Talking Sports podcast, episode 97. Back here with Cousin Aaron. And we're going to the second half right now. What I'm going to do, start off with, is, when I play Muhammad Ali, y'all know what that is. He's a bad man. All right.
I'm the king of the world. Hold it. You're not that pretty. I'm a bad man. I shook up the world.
He shook up the world. No doubt. And when you talk about a bad man, who do you talk about? Who I'm going to talk about is Josh Allen. Did you see, that beatdown that they put on New England wasn't really, really pretty, because New England knew that Buffalo was going to come back and try to do something because of the way they was embarrassed in that game where they only threw the ball 3 times and they beat New England. Josh Allen was amazing. Probably one of the best quarterback passing days of all time. Any play in Super Bowl history, in playoff history, regular season history, they look really, really good. Believe me. Okay, now I want to tell you this. We're going to break down these 2 games that we have, the last 2 games in this half, but I'm going to bust the facts on the Buccaneers and the Rams. And then I'm going to bust the facts on Kansas City and Buffalo and Kansas City. I'm going to bust the facts on them too. Okay. First off, bust the facts on this. Rams and Buccaneers. The Rams beat the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay, in week 3, 34-24. Okay. Tom Brady now is looking for playoff win number 37 or 6. I'm sorry. Number 36. Now, in that game where he lost, he passed for 432 yards and a touchdown. Now, that was the game between him and the Rams. The Rams, they was pretty good. They had a pretty good run and pass attack. But the thing about it is that their pass rush is probably one of the most dangerous pass rushes in the NFL. Beckham, if he comes to play, this is going to be a very, very big weapon for the Los Angeles Rams. Now, Tampa Bay's pass defense is really good as well. So, but they're going to have their hands full with Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham. Buccaneers are kind of banged up. They are missing a few players, but I still think they should be able to get it done. Okay, Matt Stafford won his first playoff game. He's 1-3 now. Like I was mentioning before, Tom Brady has 35 playoff wins. That's probably more than any quarterback has probably he has the all-time record or so. I don't know. In that game where Stafford and the Rams beat the Buccaneers in Week 3, Stafford passed for 343 yards and 4 touchdowns. 17 times. Oh, man, I messed up at that one. Anyway, just forget that one. I meant to say something else. This is what I wanted to say. He only passed 17 times against Arizona, which they really didn't need him to pass that much. Because like Cam Akers, who came back, their running attack just basically ran down and ran over the Arizona Cardinals in that game. They look good running the ball, and believe me, the Buccaneers are going to have a hard time if they can stopping both of those guys. Okay, the last one. Bust the facts on the Buffalo-Kansas City game. Okay, Buffalo did beat Kansas City 38-20 in the first, in Week 5. Kansas City's defense was trash back then. Remember, in Week 5, they had all kinds of defensive problems. They couldn't figure out who to switch around, and they just couldn't figure it out. Buffalo is on a revenge tour right now. Bust the facts that Buffalo is on a revenge tour. And they are beating up people. They already disposed of New England, and now they're ready to get rid of Kansas City. Because you remember last year they played for the AFC Championship. And believe me, I think that they are on that revenge tour. Allen could be a threat with his running his legs, and he's also one of the best passers in the NFL. This is the first time in NFL history that we see two quarterbacks come into play against each other after having 5 touchdown passes. Remember, Allen had all that 5 touchdown passes and those 7 scoring drives against New England, and Mahomes, just regular Patrick Mahomes, he had 5 touchdown passes and stuff against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, bust the facts on that. Okay, now we're gonna go right into the predictions. Los Angeles Rams are a 2.5 point underdog to the Buccaneers in Tampa. And I use the Vegas app again. Aaron, who did you pick on this one? I use your Vegas app.
Okay, yeah, they're Tampa Bay 2.5 point favorites. But I really think this is going to be a repeat of the first time they met. The LA Rams, their factors are OBJ. Matthew Stafford is going to try to prove all the experts wrong by saying, well, he can't play under the big lights and all that crazy stuff. You got Aaron Donald. You got Von Miller. They're stacked on defense, man. And I really think they're not going to allow Tom Brady to do his thing, man. Tom Brady, I think you got it coming to you today, buddy. I'm picking the LA Rams. I am to upset. A slight upset here. LA Rams over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the Buccaneers have running back Ronald Jones. I think they're going to use him more so than having the Ramsey key on Brady. But Ronald Jones is going to be a factor in the Brady's offense. I really do. But I really think so. So, LA Rams, I'm going to give you the nod in this game.
All right. Giovanni Bernard had a really big game last week against Philadelphia. Yep. And I thought that was one of the better factors for them. Like I said, Brady is Brady. I can't go against Brady. I'm sorry. I can't go against Brady. But one thing I do, what concerns me is the health of their two players on the offensive line, Wirfs and the other guy that was hurt. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name right off. But that kind of concerns me about what they're going to do. You know, I really think that they can run the ball. You know, I think that, if the Rams can run the ball. The Rams can do, they have all these weapons. They have Von Miller. That pass rush of the Rams is something that is very dangerous and very, very scary. But
Yeah.
I feel as though that Tom Brady, if he has his timing to get out, the passes that he can throw, and if he can just, they're playing at home, so they're going to, not have to worry about the whole, road crowd or whatever. But I really think that Tom Brady can get back to the NFC Championship, and I'm taking Brady and the Rams, or I'm sorry, I'm taking Brady and the Buccaneers to beat the Rams maybe 27-20. All right. The next game that we're going to predict is Buffalo and Kansas City. Now, I took, this is coming off the Shark Bet. Shark Bet, 2.5 points. Kansas City is the favorite. Who do you like in this game?
Yeah, I have the same point spread. Kansas City by 2.5. Darrell Williams, the running back for Kansas City. He's going to offset what Patrick Mahomes does. Ronald Williams, I keep saying Ronald. Darrell Williams keeps going. He keeps going on and on. As the game goes, he goes. I think he's going to have a terrific game today, Kansas City. With Darrell Williams in Kansas City. Buffalo, Josh Allen, man, he's the most improved quarterback in the whole NFL. I got to give him that much. But going up here to Kansas City, you might not agree, but I think Kansas City is going to win this game, and they're going to win it convincingly. And I'm not talking a field goal game. I'm talking about Mahomes putting up almost 400-some yards, throwing about 3 or 4 touchdowns. They're going to try to get rid of these guys because Buffalo is hard on everybody here lately, and Mahomes knows that. So does Coach Andy Reid. So I think they're going to try to put it to him early and often. You may disagree with it, but I got to take Kansas City, man. I really do.
All right. I'm going to go against you. I'm going to take Buffalo, only because of what I saw last week from Josh Allen and what I've seen from this defense. I think that the Buffalo Bills are the best team in the AFC right now. And I'm to tell you, if they went up against Tennessee in the AFC Championship, I would be with Buffalo again, because I feel as though that Buffalo has been through. They had to get past Kansas City to go to the Super Bowl last year, and I feel as though that the only way that you have, a lot of people are taking this as the de facto AFC Championship game. I'm looking at it as a point of view of what I've seen. They're on a revenge tour. That revenge tour means a lot. And this is the time now. It's either put up or shut up for Buffalo. They have to do this, because if they don't do this, then, they had some moments where they didn't look good at all. But it seems as though that Josh Allen is putting it together at the right time. Stephon Diggs is coming to his own, playing his hardest. If they give Singletary a little bit more groundwork and, take the pressure off of Allen to run and pass and do everything else, I think it'll be a little bit more convincingly a victory for Buffalo. Kansas City, they do worry me. They worry me because, the high-flying style, they might want, you can't win a lot of games with a shootout. You cannot win a lot of games with a shootout. But I look at it as that Kansas City has their players. They have good players, and they have the ability to put Buffalo in a shootout. but I feel as though that Buffalo is still a little bit superior. And, the problems that Kansas City had, and, there was another problem that they had, come up earlier during the week, which I think, what's his name? Gay? Willie Gay?
Yeah.
Willie Gay is going to play in that game. Watching ESPN, it just said that. So I think Buffalo is going to win this game 34-31.
That's a good opinion, man. You brought up some good reasons why they can win, and I like that. We agree to disagree.
All right. Okay. Now we're done with that, and before we go into a couple little things that I got left, I want you to give your shout outs.
Okay. I have a little personal thing to take care of this morning, and I appreciate you letting me off the hook.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't have a problem with you giving a couple people shout outs, and stuff like that. It's just that, like I said, I want to make sure that, we appreciate everybody that listens. And like I said, Cousin Aaron, go ahead, take care of it.
All right, let me give a shout out to Gerard Pinkney, the CEO of GP Production, and his Feeling the Funk band. These are all musicians that I'm associated with, and I appreciate them listening to the show. Keith Showtime Buzzy. He's an excellent musical director. Moxie Thompson and the JB Experience, featuring the fantastic Gregory Cooper and his JB performance. Anissa Twinkie Hargrove. She's a beautiful background singer, a vocalist for many R&B groups, including the Shades of Soul, and a solo artist in her own right. The Bennett brothers, Ernest, Joe, and Jim, excellent musicians. Buzzy Pendell, extraordinary trumpet player. The NWO Horns, featuring Gilbert Pryor, Wardell Brown, and Lenny Harris, a great group. Big Joe Webb, the former Apollo Theater Amateur Hour winner. Jimmy Poe, a keyboardist. Greg Boyer, the former trombonist for Clinton, George Clinton, P-Funk, Parliament Funkadelic, Prince, and Maceo Parker, among many other groups. John Bunny Butler, a vocalist. Joe Fenwick, a bassist. And Nick Johnston, he's the host of WPFW in Washington, D.C. on 89.3 radio. Also, to end this, Tamara Farrar, Terrell Scott, Brandon Wyatt, Sheila Brooks and her husband Kenny, Anya Myers and her husband Vernon, Bush Farrar and his wife Jackie, Johnny Brown, Terrence Sorrell, Terry Savage, George Bay Thomas, Vincent Thomas, Linda Reese, Michael Ross, Cornell Banks, LeCount Briscoe, Diane Yates, Ronnie Goldring, George Jones, Joe Gaskins, and finally Erica Bronner. All those are former Dallas, not all of them, but most of them are Dallas Cowboy fans, and I pay homage to you for losing to Frisco last week. But anyway, last but not least, I'd like to give a shout out to Ann Radel, who is my computer tech supervisor. And she's a supervisor and a computer technician. We also get on the air with the Guru each and every week. Now it's back to you, Guru.
All right, Cousin Aaron, thank you, and thank you for all the people that listen to us, and
yes,
make sure that we we appreciate it. We really appreciate you listening, because like I said before, we want to make sure that we get the best product out there and make sure that we're getting things out there to you guys. And we
subscribe to the show.
Subscribe, comment, feedback, give us all that you got. We really appreciate it. All right.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break right here, and then I'm going to come back and finish up with what's pissing you off. And I got taps, and then we got some particulars. But other than that, we're basically almost done here. So I want to make sure that, you want to say to you, Cousin Aaron, thank you for your contribution this week. We really had a really good time, really good stuff. And guys, hang loose. We'll be right back right after this. Okay, guys, welcome back to the Guru Talking Sports Podcast. This is episode 97. I want to thank my co-host, Cousin Aaron. He had to go, and I really appreciate the effort that he put out on this episode. We only got a couple more things I wanted to wrap up with, but the world famous "What's Pissing You Off" segment is next, and I just wanted to say that we do a lot of stuff around here. I do, even though that I'm working and I'm running around all over the country and making sure that I'm doing certain things, I always try to fit in all kinds of information. And one of my thought processes is that I want to make sure that I get good information out there for you guys. So I really appreciate you tuning in, and I really appreciate you listening to this podcast. Okay, what's pissing you off this week? I'm gonna go with one, and her name is Mary Ann in Dallas, Texas. And what's pissing her off was Mike McCarthy, something that we talked about earlier. That Dallas debacle was something else. I just don't understand how it went from that situation, and I don't understand why they could have just ran that play. So Mary Ann, I apologize. Mike McCarthy is a Super Bowl winning coach. And he should have known, he said that it works all the time, but I don't know. I just don't have a real good answer for you there, Marianne. I know another person that was really pissed off was my friend Jody. She's a big, big Cowboy fan. And I know that, I talked to her after the game or so, or probably a day after the game. And I told her that, I really felt bad for you guys. You guys had all the pieces together. And, hey, it's one of those things, lose, you lose. But to lose in that fashion was kind of difficult. Now, one of the things that was pissing me off this week was, last week I was talking about my Starbucks coffee. Okay. Now, I don't know if this really, really pissed me off, but it had me thinking. Now, all this, I was listening to, while I was driving, I think I was coming back to Maryland. But my thing was, why is it that I was listening to all the stuff in the, I was listening to all these Motown songs. And why is it back in the 60s, everybody was crying and begging, There were songs like, Do You Love Me? Begging. That's right, begging. I Want You Back. That's begging again too, right? My Guy, which is, good love song. My Girl, which is another good love song, but, one of the ones that really got me was My Whole World Ended the Moment You Left Me. I love David Ruffin. Don't get me wrong. But wasn't he begging on that song? Well, that was kind of begging. Here's a song called What Becomes of a Broken Hearted. I don't know. A broken heart, you just pick up the pieces and move on, I guess. I heard it through the grapevine. Yeah, you heard it through the grapevine that somebody was cheating on you, but yet and still, you just, what? You ain't gotta deal with that. You just gotta keep moving. Keep it moving. Hey, begging and stuff like that, love is love. But I can't really say anything about the 60s because, I was born in the 60s. And, 60s was a, different time. I don't remember a whole lot about the 60s because I was a little guy. But, I was like kind of wondering to myself when I was listening to these songs, why is there so much begging back then? My gosh. This is like the love game wasn't that great back then? I don't know. All right, well, that's what kind of pissed me off. And another thing that really pissed me off is that the other day I was going to, was coming out of the store. And this woman, she didn't look because I was just, driving straight, going to the exit. And she just pulls out and just runs right in front of me. I stopped. She just ran her car right across the intersection. Didn't look back, didn't look to the side. You know what? And to me, that's something I tell Caden Guru all the time. He just started driving. So I told him, I said, you got to look out for people when you're on the road that are, out for themselves, more or less. And you got to be very, very careful because, when you get out there on the road by yourself, you're on your own. And it's it's you watching out for the other guys out there. And you got to protect yourself out there as well. Okay. Now, those are the two things that was pissing me off this week. All right. I'm going to finish up with a couple more little things. And the next thing I'm going to have to talk about is taps. And I really hate taps, but you know what? I have to do it. Here is the Taps Bugle. And we got 3 people that we're going to have to say goodbye to. Taps Bugle. Should be coming right now. We have to say goodbye to comedian Louis Anderson. Louis Anderson was 68. He died yesterday, and I think he died of cancer. Very, very funny guy. I'm going to play a couple clips from him and Meatloaf. Meatloaf died yesterday as well, and it was kind of shocked because I heard the news and I was really, really upset. Really upset. Because they're, 2 good guys, comedy-wise and music-wise. Music-wise, did you know Meatloaf was in 70 movies? And he was, good actor. He was in Fight Club. Little Shop of Horrors. He was on a couple different things. And I just really, 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 it hits me hard when, you see people passing away at that age and everything. Clark Gillies was a member of that Islanders team that won all those Stanley Cups. I think the 4 straight Stanley Cups back in the early 80s or so. We had to say goodbye to him as well. So, Taps is always, we're going to have to, kind of like always play this. But I want you guys to know that, we basically have a lot of things that we have to do. But, we have to make sure that we pay respects to the people that pass on. Okay. Now, we, like I said, I wanted to play a clip from Coming to America with Louis Anderson. I remember this. This is one of the great movies that still finds a place in my heart where, I always, if I need a laugh or something like that, I always play this. And I want you to check out this clip from Louis Anderson.
Hey, I started on cleanup just like you guys. But now, see, I'm washing lettuce. Soon I'll be on fries, then the grill. A year or 2, I make assistant manager. And that's where the big bucks start rolling in.
Just 2 years, eh?
Comedian Louis Anderson was a great comedian.
All you do in your dog.
I think he was, it was a shame that when I heard the news, I thought it was really, really upsetting. But Louis Anderson, he'll always be remembered. Baskets, remember that show? He played in that show, and that was a really, really, that was an amazing show. I think he won a Emmy for that as well. All right, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and finish up the podcast with this. I want you guys to know that you can call me at 302-468-7239, 302-468-7239. Get in touch with me, the Guru. I'm always available. You can call me. I will talk to you. I will, pick up the phone and talk to you. If you want to have a conversation, we'll definitely have a conversation. I want you to know that. Okay, now, I'm going to give some shout-outs before I go. I want to make sure that like I said, I haven't did any shout outs in a while because the thing about it is that I want to keep this thing moving and I want to keep everything rolling. I want to say thank you to Bella B, Jeff in Southland, my man Rick in Buffalo. I'm going with your Bills. Definitely going with your Bills. At for Canucks' sake, I'm just going to read some of these Twitter handles out. My friend Mel, it was good to talk to you this morning, and I want you to know that, I'll be praying for you. You and your family, great person, Mel. And always enjoy the conversation talking to you. Be safe, and I'll be praying for you. My man Dixieland Dan, appreciate you. Upside Down Mike, Alberta Girl 34, Lori, it was good talking to you. Always have a good conversation with you. Sweet Bourbon Kiss, I forget her name, but I really appreciate you too. 12s for Life, Adriana, I appreciate you. My man Rob in the 321, Senior Pant Legs, Cigar City Capo, Sprint Car Dad, Justin, appreciate you. Coach Einhart, appreciate you. And I want to give a shout out to my man Dave Shepard. He's an ESPN writer, NBA writer, and a host on WFAN, and he's a host also on CBS Sports Radio. I talk to him a lot, and he's a really, really nice guy, very kind-hearted, and big props to you and your dog George. I want to say, hey, you know what? I really appreciate the conversation. I really appreciate your connection, and I'm very grateful for your friendship as well. Thank you, Dave. Take care of yourself, my man. I also give a shout out to my man Charlie Rogers, Chris Kerwin. I know these are two big Eagle fans, and I know after last week you're still mad at me, but I had to tell you the truth, man. They wasn't going to win that game. Kate, it was good to see you again, and thank you for all your help. I really appreciate you, and thank you for keeping my mind right when I'm, at work and making sure that I'm doing the right thing. Thank you, Kate. Denise Hyde, my friend, I really appreciate you, and thank you for your participation and your time, and thank you for listening. Jeff Brown, thank you, sir. Really appreciate you, and we'll get together pretty soon. My man Keith Stewart, thank you, and I wanted to tell you that I got the odds for you. I made sure I broke down these games, and I will be talking to you pretty soon, and thank you for, listening. My man Rocco, appreciate you. Rock, hope you're feeling better. Hope everything is all right. Take care of yourself. Daryl from the EE. I know Daryl ain't from the EE. He used to work for the EE, but they still miss you over there. Appreciate you, Daryl. And we're gonna get together soon. And after I'll tell you this after I finish up. My man Big Al from New Jersey and his son Kareem. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate. I really appreciate people. My cousin Paul and all my family, my Davis family members. I want to thank you guys as well. Because, we've had a lot of rough times. We had, passing of my cousin Billy here a little while ago. I want to make sure that the family know that I love them and I care about them, and I'll make sure that, everything will be okay. 302-468-7239. Call us, and like I said, make sure that you, you get with us. Because, like I said, we would love to hear from you. You know what? The air horn didn't sound for the last half. Where's that air horn? It never showed up, did it? All right, we're going to get the air horn in here. It has to officially end the portion of our podcast. Give me 1 second. Like I said, I'm doing everything by myself. I am the board op. I am the host. I am the producer. I'm everything right now. Give me 1 second. Here it is. All right, we can't do a show without the air horn. I think at least at least one air horn that we have to hear, we definitely have to do it. But, oh, like my Tampa Bay shirt just came in here. This guru just came in and threw my Tampa Bay shirt right over here into where I needed to be. All right. Now, I want to say thank you once again. Follow us on all social media. Like I said, if you can't find this podcast, it's on iTunes. It's on Spotify. It's on iHeartRadio. It's on every platform that you can think of. Not to mention all the apps. I can't even mention all the apps because I got to find this paper that I had. One paper that I had at least 100 some odd apps that this podcast is on. And right now I'm looking through. I don't want to be shuffling papers and being rude in here, but I want you guys to know that I really appreciate you guys for listening. And I will find it. I think I might have it right here. Give me 1 second. I just want to take a look at a few things. Yeah. That's not it. I don't know. Like I said, Guru's got all kinds of stuff around here. He's like a mad scientist sometimes. He just looks for a whole lot of bunch of different stuff. Yeah, I think I got this piece of paper with all these apps and stuff on it. I got plenty. I got a lot of stuff that, all right. But anyway, like I said, you can find it. Now, on the YouTube page, it says The Guru of Sports Show. Look under it. It says L. Briscoe. That's me. E.L. Briscoe. It's on there. Go to that page and check that out because you'll find it. And then, like I said, it's just like a regular YouTube video. You play it and it's just, just me talking. It's the podcast. Listen to it from there if you can't find it anywhere else. Facebook, I'm on at Guru's Daily Shorts. I'm El Briscoe, like I mentioned before. IG, I'm at The Gurus OS, Guru OS 39, which is my, my other name that I'm going to be using pretty soon. Gurus, okay. Gmail, I'm at gurusdailyshorts@gmail.com. Like I said, you can leave me a Gmail if you want. There's a lot of ways you can contact me. All these ways you can contact me. Twitter, I'm at Goat39 on Twitter. And Goaty, I don't know, what are you doing? Goaty's at BlackGoat39 on Twitter. And he's, like I said, he does his thing. I don't know what he does. And he just sits over there and doesn't do anything else. Just looking and doing whatever. Spotify, Spreaker, Podchasers, iTunes, iHeartRadio. We're on all of these platforms. Because Nara said that last week people couldn't find it. Like I said, I have it posted on my Facebook page. I have it posted on Instagram. I have it posted on Twitter as well. So that link, like I said, if you go to YouTube right now and press on the link, find me, the Guru of Sports Show, hit that, you can listen to the podcast. It's simple, okay? I got to give big props and shout outs to the Mary Mac Show on Grief. She's my big sister in podcasting, and she's up to over 100 some odd episodes. I've listened to a lot of them. They're great. And it really helps me because, like, when I'm on the road, I like to listen to different things that keeps my mind occupied and keeps my mind off of what I have to do and keeps my mind off about being able to miss home, okay? The Mary Mac Show on Grief. She's really good. And she's got some things going on. I'm going to talk about those next week when we do our championship weekend show. My man, Jeff Duarte, he is really good. He is the editor-in-chief of the website I write for, Cali Sports News. I am very bad. I haven't written anything in 2 years, and I apologize. Every single time I apologize. I'm going to definitely do something before the Super Bowl. I'm hold me to it. I am definitely doing something before the Super Bowl. I got to give a shout out to my other cousin, Curtis, and his grandson. They do a podcast called The Young GM, which is really good. Young GM is I think he's my second cousin, and Curtis is my first cousin. So he actually is up and coming, and he knows his stuff. He's getting there. He's really, really getting to the point where he's learning the ins and outs of the podcast game, and he's also learning the ins and outs of the NFL game, which is really good. He's going to break down, you listen to him, he breaks down different games. He's going to break down last week's games. He's going to break down this week's games. He's going to go until the Super Bowl like we are. So listen to him. It's called The Young GM. And you can find him on Spotify. I listen to him out of Spotify as well. Okay, I got to say big props to my hip-hop brothers. Appreciate you all. And my baseball insider, my good friend, Mr. Dave May Jr., former Major League player and current scout for the Toronto Blue Jays. Really appreciate you. Thank you. The crew, Caden Guru, executive producer and board op, who is never here. He's actually working right now. Young man, 16 years old, doing his thing, working, and I'm really proud of him. And I can't get mad at him because he's really, really doing a great job at his job. And I really appreciate him learning the ins and outs of what's coming up next and being a grown-up. Ray Guru, technical advisor, we talk all the time, and I appreciate you listening. And, not because he's my brother, but he is a good advisor on other things as well. I really appreciate him. Musical director as well. Dante Guru is my backup co-host and show advisor. He gives me insights and talks all the time about what we're doing on the podcast. And, like I said, last weekend we had a little situation where I had to, talk to a few people about, some comments, but we got them all taken care of. Bygones be bygones and everything is okay. Cousin Aaron, appreciate you. You did a great job this week. I wanted to tell you that, hey, you know what? I really appreciate the work that you put in and everything that you did. Okay, the motto and saying is this. This has been a Black Goat production for Black Goat Entertainment, copyright 2022, all rights reserved. We don't hate, we congratulate. We always give credit where credit is due. We always create something that's new and good for our fans, and we don't steal from no one. Use the hashtag Big Props and use the hashtag Gurus Talking Sports. Always. We appreciate that. Now, I'm going to get out of here, but I wanted to tell you guys that, once again, we appreciate you guys for listening. We thank you guys for your time. We know that your time is valuable, and we want to make sure that you get the good information out there, and we appreciate you just in general. Thank you. Go out there, enjoy your sports weekend. I'm going to play a little bit of Mr. Curtis Mayfield. Curtis Mayfield. Freddie's dead. But I want you guys to know that, hey, thank you for your time. We're going to get out of here. Enjoy the 4 football games this weekend. Get out there, do something good. Be nice to somebody. Show somebody some respect and some compassion. Do something nice for somebody. The Guru, Cousin Aaron, we will see you back here next week for championship weekend. Go out there and be good. Like I said, we will see you real soon. Take care, everybody. Later.